Zelensky gave some detail finally on what's been discussed in the various meetings that there have been in recent weeks, but it's all quite complicated. If you remember, in September 2022, Russia staged these sort of fake referendums and claimed to have annexed 4 additional Ukrainian regions on top of Crimea, which it annexed in 2014. Those are Luhansk and Donetsk, which make up the Donbass, and Zaporizhia and Kherson. At the moment, they occupy almost all of Luhansk region and about 80% of Donetsk region and significantly less of Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. They are not proposing to withdraw from Zaporizhia or Kherson regions, and they want the Ukrainians to withdraw from the rest of the bit of Donetsk region that the Ukrainians still hold. And apparently, according to what Volodymyr Zelensky said the Americans were proposing as a compromise, the Russians would withdraw from the little bits of 3 other regions in Ukraine that they don't claim to have annexed, but where they have, in the course of the fighting, taken little bits of territory. Those are Kharkiv and Sumy regions in the northeast and Dnipropetrovsk region in the sort of center east of the country. But these are areas where the total amount of territory that Russia controls amounts to less than the amount of territory that it's asking Ukraine to withdraw from in Donetsk region, and also doesn't contain any major cities, whereas in the part of Donetsk region still controlled by Ukraine, there are the cities of Kramatorsk and Slovyansk. I think that what Ukrainians have been saying for the last weeks and what Ukrainian public opinion surveys show is that this is basically not acceptable to Ukraine, giving up this territory without the Russians having fought for it. What the Americans are apparently proposing as a compromise or as a sort of way for it to be not entirely given up is that the Russians don't move their forces into this territory, but just the Ukrainians pull their forces out. Volodymyr Zelensky yesterday was indicating that Ukraine was not saying a flat no to anything, but what he was saying is who in that case is going to administer this territory, what's actually going to be its status, and also he was once again stressing that he doesn't have the authority to make these kinds of concessions. They would have to be submitted to the Ukrainian people in either a referendum or elections, and the Ukrainian executive have repeatedly drawn attention to the fact that it's extremely difficult and currently illegal under martial law to organise elections or a referendum during wartime. So it's a way of saying yes, but instead of saying no, but the buts make it seem that this plan is unworkable in the eyes of Kyiv anyway.